The night settles gently over the world, drawing a quiet blanket across cities, forests, and oceans. In this stillness, there is a subtle invitation, a whisper to slow the mind, to soften the thoughts, to drift just beyond the edges of waking consciousness. It is in this liminal space, between the certainty of daylight and the gentle blur of dreams, that we begin our journey into the past. Here, the ancient world waits, not as a rigid record of dates and events, but as a living tapestry of whispers, half-forgotten rituals, and stones that have silently observed the passage of countless generations. Each mystery we will explore is like a faint echo, a story reaching across the centuries, inviting us to pause and imagine. Long before the hum of modern life, humans were already looking up at the same stars we see tonight, pondering their patterns, measuring their movements, and weaving them into myths and stories that gave meaning to existence. These were not people of ordinary curiosity alone. They were dreamers and builders, storytellers and seekers, leaving behind traces of a world that still refuses to be fully understood. Some of their creations were grand and permanent, carved into stone with such precision that we cannot help but marvel. Others were fleeting, like marks in the sand or the memory of song. Yet they carry the same resonance, proof that even in the distant past, humanity yearned to leave a mark, to understand the inexplicable, and to reach beyond the ordinary. In our exploration tonight, we will encounter 50 such mysteries, each a quiet lantern illuminating a fragment of the past. Some are well known, their images familiar from history books or museum halls. Others are nearly forgotten, hidden in remote valleys, beneath shifting sands, or in the faint ink of undeciphered texts. They range from monumental stone structures that have defied the passage of time to delicate artifacts whose purpose remains elusive. They are mysteries of craft, of purpose, of human ingenuity, and sometimes of events that science and history still struggle to explain. And yet, for all their strangeness, they are not frightening. They are invitations, gentle provocations for the imagination, meant to be savored slowly, like the quiet turning of a page or the soft flicker of candlelight in an empty room. There is a rhythm to these mysteries, a pattern in their very elusiveness. Some challenge our understanding of technology, showing that people centuries ago were capable of feats that seem impossible even now. Others stir the imagination with the stories they hint at, civilizations that vanished without trace, rituals whose meaning is lost to time, texts that speak in symbols no one can read. Each one is a bridge between the known and the unknown, a point of contact between what has been documented and what continues to elude explanation. And in this delicate balance, there is comfort. There is the quiet reassurance that not all knowledge is meant to be pinned down, that wonder can exist alongside understanding, and that the mysteries of the past are companions for the mind in the still hours of the night. As we begin, imagine yourself walking slowly along a path lined with ancient ruins. Perhaps the wind stirs the long grass, or the moon casts shadows across stone columns that have stood longer than any living memory. You may feel a sense of reverence, a hush that comes naturally when encountering something old, something that has watched centuries pass silently. These mysteries do not demand answers. They ask only that we notice, that we feel the presence of lives once lived, of hands that shaped stone and stories, of minds that reach for understanding in ways that we are only beginning to glimpse. There is a quiet poetry in this, an acknowledgement that while time moves relentlessly forward, traces of the past remain, waiting for those who will pause to see them. Tonight, we will move gently through these ancient enigmas, allowing each one to unfold in its own time. There is no rush, no need to solve, no urgency to conclude. Instead, we embrace the slow rhythm of discovery, letting our curiosity drift like clouds across a calm sky. Some mysteries will leave us marveling at human skill. Others will stir a faint chill of awe at the unknown. But always, the tone will remain calm, meditative, as if the past itself is speaking in whispers meant only for ears willing to listen in stillness. And as you settle into this journey, you may notice a sense of connection, a quiet awareness that, in gazing upon these enigmas, you are joining a chain of observers stretching back thousands of years, sharing a fascination that is as timeless as the stones and stories themselves. So let the world of light fade gently into shadow. Let the hum of everyday life recede. In this moment, in this gentle quiet, we step into the mysteries of history, where the known and the unknown meet, where wonder is a companion, and where every question, even those without answers, can be savored like a soft, lingering note in the night. The journey begins here, with the past breathing softly into the present, inviting us to wander through its mysteries with calm attention, and to let our imagination drift freely into the echoes of lives, lands, and secrets long vanished, yet never truly gone. In the softest corners of the world, where the soil still holds the weight of ancient footsteps, there lie the first enigmas of human history. These are not the grand monuments or intricate scripts of later civilizations, but the quiet, almost imperceptible remnants left by our distant ancestors. Fragments of a time so old that even the stories surrounding them have begun to fade, swallowed by the relentless march of years. And yet, these early mysteries speak to us with a peculiar clarity, like whispers through the veil of time. They're the first clues, the earliest signs that humans were not only surviving, but also reaching for something greater, something beyond the immediate grasp of daily life. Among these first enigmas, one of the most remarkable sites is Göbekli Tepe, a place where the very foundations of human civilization seem to be written in stone. Situated in the southeastern corner of modern-day Turkey, this ancient site predates even the advent of agriculture, challenging the conventional narrative of human progress. It is perhaps the earliest known example of monumental architecture, a structure built by people who had yet to cultivate the land or raise livestock. Here, on a barren hilltop, long before cities were born, ancient hands carved massive stone pillars into intricate shapes, each covered with symbols and images of animals. Foxes, snakes, and birds, etched with a precision that even modern technology finds difficult to replicate. The sheer scale of the project, the labor it must have required, and the thoughtfulness behind the design all suggest a society that was far more sophisticated than we might expect for a pre-agricultural people. And yet, despite the impressive nature of these ruins, Göbekli Tepe remains a mystery in many ways. The purpose of this sacred complex remains unclear. Some believe it may have been a temple, a center of ritual activity for a long-lost religious tradition. Others speculate that it could have been an astronomical observatory, its pillars marking the solstices and equinoxes. Still, others wonder if it served as a gathering place for early humans to come together, to celebrate or worship, to exchange ideas and learn the ways of the world. What is undeniable, though, is the site's profound influence on our understanding of early human history. Its very existence forces us to reconsider the timeline of human development, suggesting that the seeds of civilization might have been planted far earlier than we ever imagined. In the shadow of Göbekli Tepe, there are also mysterious artifacts that seem to hint at the same level of complexity. Items like the Venus figurines, small stone or clay representations of female figures, which have been found in various parts of Europe and Asia. These figures are often exaggerated in their proportions, with large breasts and hips, suggesting that they may have had some ritual or symbolic significance. Some believe they were fertility idols, while others argue they could represent a deity or some form of early divine being. Whatever their true purpose, these figurines tell us that even before the dawn of written history, humans were engaged in symbolic thinking, creating objects that spoke to their beliefs, fears, and desires. There is a sense in the craftsmanship of these figurines that early humans were not simply trying to survive, but were also trying to understand the deeper forces of the world around them, forces that they could not see, but could sense. Göbekli Tepe and the Venus figurines are only the beginning of this ancient puzzle. As we move further into the past, we encounter more evidence of early human ingenuity, often hidden beneath the earth or scattered in forgotten places. In the heart of the Sahara Desert, there are ancient rock art sites that depict scenes of animal hunting and people dancing, images that suggest a culture capable of both artistic expression and social organization. These paintings, some of which date back more than 8,000 years, reveal a world that no longer exists, a world where the desert was once a lush, verdant place teeming with life. One of the most fascinating aspects of this early art is its connection to the stars. Just as people in Göbekli Tepe's world may have been tracking the heavens, so too were those in the Sahara drawing celestial patterns into the stone. Some researchers believe these rock paintings represent a form of early astronomy, with certain depictions correlating to the positions of stars and constellations. The fact that such intricate knowledge was being passed down thousands of years ago, when humans were still living in small, scattered groups, speaks to a remarkable understanding of the natural world. It suggests that the search for meaning and connection, the desire to understand the stars, was not something that emerged only with the rise of complex civilizations, but was a part of the very fabric of early human life. This yearning for understanding is also reflected in some of the most puzzling structures left behind by ancient peoples. Consider the mysterious stone circles found in various parts of the world. Places like Stonehenge in England, Azerbaijan's Gobustan, and the Ring of Brodger in Orkney. Each of these sites is different, but they share a common thread. They all appear to have been constructed with a deep understanding of celestial cycles. In many ways, these stone circles are ancient observatories, aligned with the movements of the sun and moon, and sometimes even the stars. What is particularly intriguing about these structures is that, in most cases, we have no clear evidence of the societies that built them, no written records or definitive accounts that explain why they were created. The question of why these people went to such lengths to construct these stone monuments is a mystery that has captivated historians and archaeologists for centuries. Was it a form of religious expression, a way to communicate with the gods through the language of the stars? Was it a method of marking the passage of time, of tracking the cycles of life, death, and rebirth? Or perhaps, as some have suggested, these monuments were a form of social cohesion, a way to bring people together for ritual, celebration, or even governance. Even as we explore the lives of these early peoples, we cannot escape the nagging feeling that there is so much more to discover. We are, after all, looking at only the tiniest fraction of what once existed. Vast swaths of ancient history are still hidden beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered. There are so many more mysteries like these sites, artifacts, and stories that we have yet to fully understand. The more we learn, the more questions seem to arise, as if the past is teasing us with fragments, inviting us to keep searching, to keep seeking answers to the unknown. In the world of ancient history, there's a profound beauty in this uncertainty. Each mystery we encounter is like a note in an unfinished song, a story that has not yet reached its conclusion. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all, why these ancient questions continue to haunt us, why we are drawn to them as we are, why the echoes of long-dead peoples still stir something deep within us. It is as if the past is always reaching out, calling us to remember, to wonder, to explore. The mysteries of Göbekli Tepe, the Venus figurines, and the stone circles remind us that we are part of something far larger than ourselves, a human story that stretches back to the very beginnings of time. And perhaps, as we continue to uncover its secrets, it will one day lead us to an understanding of ourselves we have not yet fully grasped. As we move deeper into the ancient world, the mysteries grow not only in number, but in complexity. Some of the most intriguing enigmas lie hidden within the ruins of vanished civilizations, cultures whose stories have been nearly erased from the pages of history. These ancient peoples left behind relics of incredible artistry and skill, but their names, their languages, and even the reasons for their disappearance remain elusive. It is as though their very presence in history was a fleeting moment, too brief to leave behind a clear legacy. Yet, The traces they left offer us glimpses into their way of life, their beliefs, and their potential connections with other lost cultures. One of the most fascinating examples of this is the Indus Valley Civilization, which flourished more than 4,000 years ago in what is now Pakistan and northwest India. For centuries, the Indus Valley was a mystery, a land forgotten by time and barely known to history. It wasn't until the 1920s, when British archaeologists uncovered the ruins of cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, that the world became aware of its existence. These cities were highly advanced, with sophisticated drainage systems, uniform brick sizes, and a complex grid pattern in their streets. Characteristics that, even by today's standards, would be considered remarkable. Yet, despite their extraordinary accomplishments, much of their society remains shrouded in mystery. Perhaps the greatest puzzle of the Indus Valley is its written script. The symbols found on seals and pottery appear to represent a form of writing. Yet despite decades of attempts, no one has been able to decipher them. The script seems to be distinct from the writings of other ancient cultures, making it an isolated enigma in the history of human communication. This leaves us wondering, what were they trying to say? What knowledge, what ideas, or what stories were recorded in this language? Lost to time. We are left with only the physical remains of a civilization that once thrived, now reduced to scattered ruins and symbols that no one can quite understand. Beyond the Indus Valley, there are other forgotten civilizations that still refuse to yield their secrets. Take, for example, the Norte Chico civilization in present-day Peru, one of the oldest known civilizations in the Americas. Dating back over 5,000 years, the people of Norte Chico constructed impressive architectural feats, such as massive platform mounds and ceremonial centers. What is particularly intriguing about this civilization is that they left behind no known writing system and very little in the way of art or decoration. Unlike the Egyptians or the Sumerians, who filled their tombs and temples with inscriptions and images, the Norte Chico people seem to have been relatively minimalist. What then was the purpose of their monuments? What rituals or practices did they perform within these colossal structures? We are left to speculate, as the silence of their cities holds the answers just out of reach. Another enigma lies in the Sanxingdui civilization of ancient China, a culture that flourished around 3,000 years ago in what is now Sichuan province. This civilization, like the Indus Valley and Norte Chico, vanished without leaving any definitive clues about its identity. What makes Sanxingdui especially mysterious are the extraordinary bronze masks and statues discovered at the site in the 1980s. These objects, with their exaggerated facial features and unusual proportions, seem to suggest a culture with a deep spiritual or ritualistic significance. The craftsmanship of the artifacts is unparalleled, and yet there is no known record of the Sanxingdui people in Chinese historical texts. In fact, they seem to have disappeared as suddenly and mysteriously as they had appeared. The masks and statues, though undeniably beautiful, are laden with unanswered questions. What beliefs were these faces meant to represent? What stories, what gods, or what ceremonies were they linked to? The objects seem to offer more questions than answers, and it is in these gaps, these empty spaces of knowledge, that the mystery deepens. Then there are the Etruscans, an ancient civilization that flourished in central Italy long before the rise of Rome. Known for their rich art, distinctive language, and complex religious rituals, the Etruscans have long been a source of fascination. They left behind exquisite tombs filled with frescoes and sculptures that offer a glimpse into their lives, their beliefs, and their funerary practices. However, like the Indus Valley and Sanxingdui, much of their language remains undeciphered. The Etruscan alphabet was adopted from the Greek alphabet, but the words themselves have defied interpretation. This gap in our understanding means that, while we can admire the artistry of their tombs and the beauty of their artifacts, we still cannot fully comprehend the richness of their culture, their beliefs, or the details of their daily lives. These civilizations, separated by both time and geography, all share a common thread. They were highly advanced cultures that seemed to have vanished without leaving behind the usual markers of historical continuity. Their cities were abandoned, their languages became lost, and their cultural practices were forgotten by the civilizations that followed them. As we look at their remnants, their art, their architecture, their artifacts, we are left wondering how such sophisticated societies could disappear without a trace. Were they victims of natural disasters, internal strife, or were they simply absorbed into larger, more dominant cultures? The answers, as with so many ancient mysteries, remain elusive. There is something deeply humbling about these mysteries. The more we uncover, the more we realize how much we still do not know. It is easy to assume that with all our modern tools and technology, we would be able to unravel the secrets of the past. And yet, for every mystery we solve, more seem to appear. Each discovery opens up new questions, leading us deeper into the labyrinth of human history. We are, in many ways, like explorers walking through an ancient forest, where the path is not always clear and the shadows conceal what we cannot yet see. Perhaps the most profound aspect of these ancient puzzles is the way they remind us of the impermanence of all things. We often think of history as a straight line, a series of events that lead inevitably from one to another. But the ancient civilizations we explore in these mysteries offer a different perspective. They remind us that the rise and fall of cultures is a cyclical process, that even the most sophisticated societies can vanish without leaving behind any trace. In this sense, these mysteries are not just puzzles of the past. They are reminders of the fragility of human achievement and the delicate nature of time itself. And yet, even in the face of this uncertainty, there is a certain beauty. These ancient mysteries call us to look deeper, to pay attention to the signs that remain, to appreciate the moments of brilliance and creativity that have been lost to time. Whether it is the elegant curves of a bronze mask, the precise layout of a city, or the intricate carvings of an ancient script, these artifacts invite us to imagine the people who created them. And though we may never fully understand their stories, the echoes of their civilizations continue to resonate, reaching across time and space, urging us to listen, to wonder, and to reflect on the mysteries that, like the stars in the sky, continue to shine quietly in the night. Even as we explore the remnants of vanished civilizations and the traces of their daily lives, we encounter another layer of ancient mystery, one that is woven into the very fabric of human imagination: myths. These are stories that have been passed down through generations, whispered around fires, etched into clay tablets, or inscribed on stone monuments. They are often dismissed as mere fables, entertaining tales told to children or moral lessons disguised in narrative form. Yet, when we look more closely, we begin to see that myths are far more than stories. They may be reflections, however distorted, of real events, places, or people that existed in our distant past. They exist in that delicate space between history and imagination, a place where fact and mystery intertwine. One of the most famous and enduring examples of such mythic echoes is the global flood legend, which appears in countless cultures across the world. From a story of Noah in the Bible, to the Epic of Gilgamesh in Mesopotamia, to tales among Native American tribes, there's a remarkable consistency in the theme. A catastrophic flood wipes out almost all life, sparing only a few chosen individuals. Scholars have long debated the origins of these stories, questioning whether they were inspired by real, historical events, such as rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, or if they were purely symbolic narratives meant to explain the fragility of human life. The similarity of the stories across continents, however, hints at a shared memory, a faint echo of an event that may have been so profound that it imprinted itself upon human consciousness and was preserved across generations, long before written history could record it with clarity. Then there is the story of Atlantis, first described by the Greek philosopher Plato. Atlantis is portrayed as a powerful and technologically advanced civilization, one that fell out of favor with the gods and sank beneath the waves. For centuries, Explorers and historians have debated whether Atlantis was ever a real place or merely an allegorical tale. Yet its allure persists. Perhaps it is because Atlantis embodies both human ambition and the fear of its limits. A civilization so advanced that it seems impossible, yet so fragile that it disappears without a trace. In this sense, Atlantis is more than a story. It is a reflection of human imagination wrestling with the mysteries of creation, knowledge, and the impermanence of life. Even if it never physically existed, it persists as a symbol of what is possible and what may be lost. Across different continents, cultures have produced myths that suggest similar mysteries. Consider the widespread motifs of sky gods, deities associated with the sun, moon, and stars. From Ra in ancient Egypt to Inti in the Andes, and Zeus in Greece to the celestial beings in Chinese mythology, there is a recurring pattern. Humans looked upward, imagined intelligence in the heavens, and tried to explain the rhythms of the universe through the lens of divine beings. Some myths were created to make sense of natural phenomena, such as solar eclipses, comets, or meteor showers, which must have seemed otherworldly and terrifying in ancient times. Others may encode knowledge of the seasons, agriculture, or navigation. Myths, in this way, serve both practical and spiritual purposes. They were guides, warnings, and stories meant to anchor humanity in a cosmos that often felt vast, indifferent, and mysterious. What is particularly striking about these myths is the blurred line between truth and imagination. While modern science seeks to separate fact from fiction, in the ancient world there was no such distinction. A story could be both a spiritual lesson and a record of historical memory. It could encode astronomical observations, geographic knowledge, or cultural practices in the form of narrative poetry. This duality is part of what makes myths so compelling. They exist in a liminal space where we can explore possibilities without needing to know definitive answers. They encourage the imagination to wander, gently, into spaces where wonder outweighs certainty, where curiosity is more valuable than conclusion. One can also see this interplay between myth and memory in the legends of lost cities and civilizations, sometimes described as utopias, sometimes as cursed or hidden realms. Beyond Atlantis, there are countless references across cultures to kingdoms and cities that vanish from human knowledge. These stories raise questions that are both practical and philosophical. Did such places exist, and were they destroyed by natural disasters, conquest, or abandonment? Or were they invented as allegories, mirrors of human desire for perfection and fear of failure? The ambiguity itself is calming in a strange way. It allows the mind to linger on the possibilities without rushing to resolve them, like watching fog drift across an empty valley at twilight. Myths also allow us to see the continuity of human thought across time. For example, the archetype of the hero's journey appears in myths from Gilgamesh to Beowulf to the Ramayana. The patterns are familiar. A protagonist leaves home, faces trials, gains knowledge, and returns transformed. Even if the details are fantastical, the underlying truths are universal. Humans have always faced uncertainty, sought understanding, and navigated the tension between life and death, order and chaos, the known and the unknown. These universal themes connect us not only to the people of yesterday, but also to the shared experience of humanity itself. A gentle reminder that across millennia, we have wrestled with the same mysteries, the same questions about existence, purpose, and the world around us. In exploring these myths, we also confront the limits of human understanding. The further back we go, the thinner the thread of evidence becomes. Civilizations vanish, oral traditions fade, and yet the stories somehow persist, reshaped and retold by successive generations. There is a sense of continuity that is both comforting and mysterious, as if human imagination itself has survived every upheaval, every lost city, and every forgotten language. These stories remind us that history is not just a sequence of events, but a living dialogue between the past and the present. They encourage reflection, not just about what happened, but about how we understand our own place in the long arc of human experience. Ultimately, myths occupy a space that is neither fully factual nor entirely imaginary. They exist in the gentle tension between knowledge and mystery, between what can be verified and what must be felt. And in this tension lies their power. They invite us to slow down, to breathe, and to contemplate, not in a rush for answers, but in a quiet engagement with the unknown. As we listen to these stories, whether of great floods, sun gods, or lost cities, we become participants in an ongoing conversation that stretches across centuries. Each myth, in its own way, is a bridge connecting us to the hopes, fears, and insights of people who lived long before we could imagine. In this gentle exploration of myth, we are reminded that not all mysteries are hidden in stone or soil. Some are hidden in stories that travel through time, preserve in human memory and imagination. They speak to our desire to understand the world, to make sense of chaos, and to leave a mark that will endure beyond our own lifetimes. And so, as we trace these myths, we do more than study the past. We enter into a meditative space where history and imagination intertwine, where wonder and reflection coexist, and where the unknown becomes a companion rather than a source of fear. It is here, in this quiet balance, that we find a gentle, enduring connection to those who came before us, and to the mysteries that still linger in the shadows of history. As we continue our journey through the shadows of the past, we come to the silent giants that have stood watch over the earth for millennia, the monoliths and megaliths of ancient civilizations. These immense stones, carefully quarried, shaped, and arranged, are among humanity's most enduring mysteries. Unlike the delicate artifacts or fragile manuscripts of earlier eras, these structures were designed to last, to resist the passage of time, and to assert the presence of those who built them. Yet, despite their permanence, their purpose often eludes us, shrouded in layers of ritual, symbolism, and the unknown. One of the most famous examples, and one that continues to fascinate millions, is Stonehenge in southern England. Rising from the Wiltshire Plains, the massive sarsen stones and smaller bluestones form a circle that seems to capture the movement of the sun and moon with astonishing precision. Scholars and archaeologists have long debated why Stonehenge was constructed. Some argue it was a temple, a sacred space for ceremonies and worship. Others suggest it served as an astronomical observatory, marking the solstices, equinoxes, and lunar cycles. What is undeniable is the sheer scale of the undertaking. The stones, some weighing over 20 tons, were transported from distant locations, a feat requiring extraordinary coordination, strength, and ingenuity for people without modern machinery. As we imagine the ancient builders, we are struck not only by their skill, but by the depth of devotion and purpose that must have driven them to create something so monumental, enduring, and mysterious. Halfway across the world, the Moai of Easter Island present a different kind of enigma. These colossal statues, with their elongated faces and stoic expressions, gaze silently across the island, some perched near the cliffs, others scattered inland. Each figure, carved from volcanic rock, represents the skill and artistry of the Rapa Nui people. Yet the questions surrounding them are as large as the stones themselves. How did a small, isolated population manage to carve, transport, and erect these massive figures? And why? Some believe the Moai were representations of ancestors, guardians meant to watch over the island's inhabitants. Others speculate that they were symbols of status, markers of social or political power. Regardless of the answer, the statues are a testament to human creativity and determination, enduring as both monuments and mysteries across the centuries. Beyond individual statues and circles, there are vast megalithic complexes, such as Karnak in France. Stretching over several kilometers, rows upon rows of standing stones, known as menhirs, extend across the landscape. These formations, numbering in the thousands, are aligned with remarkable precision, yet their purpose remains uncertain. Were they markers of astronomical events, pathways for ritual processions, or memorials for the dead? Perhaps their meaning was symbolic, a reflection of the spiritual life of the people who erected them. Walking among these stones, one can feel the weight of centuries pressing gently on the mind, a quiet presence that whispers of the lives, beliefs, and ambitions of people who have long since vanished. Closer to the Andes, Sacsayhuaman in Peru offers another dimension of megalithic mystery. Towering walls of precisely cut stones, some weighing over 100 tons, fit together so perfectly that even a knife blade cannot slip between them. The purpose of Sacsayhuaman remains a topic of speculation. Was it a fortress, a ceremonial center, or a symbol of the Incas' architectural mastery? The precision of its construction challenges our assumptions about ancient engineering. How did the builders cut, moved, and positioned such enormous stones without the use of metal tools or modern machinery? And why devote such effort to structures that could endure for millennia? Here, the intersection of human ambition, skill, and mystery becomes palpable, as if the stones themselves hold silent testimony to the ingenuity of their creators. Even older than Sacsayhuaman are the megaliths of Malta, such as Hagar Kim and Najdra, dating back over 5,000 years. These temples predate the pyramids of Egypt and are among the earliest examples of monumental architecture in Europe. Their builders crafted intricate stone carvings and aligned the structures to mark the solstices and equinoxes. The care with which these stones were shaped and placed suggests a society deeply attuned to both spiritual and astronomical cycles. Yet, we know very little about the people who built them. Their language, culture, and social structure remain largely lost to history. All that remains are the stones themselves, arranged in deliberate patterns, standing as silent witnesses to a vanished world. There's a profound sense of contrast in these megaliths. On the one hand, they are tangible, solid, enduring, physical evidence of human ingenuity that continues to withstand wind, rain, and the slow erosion of centuries. On the other hand, they are ephemeral in meaning. We see their shapes, the alignment of the stones, the effort of construction, but their purpose often remains elusive. This contrast between permanence and mystery is part of what draws us in, inviting contemplation rather than demand for understanding. These are structures that do not speak in words, but in presence, in weight, in the quiet knowledge that human beings have always sought to shape the world around them, leaving marks that may last far longer than the civilizations that built them. The wonder of these monuments is amplified by the effort required to create them. In every culture, the labor behind megalithic structures speaks of social organization, coordination, and shared purpose. It is humbling to consider the planning, the knowledge of geometry and astronomy, and the sheer physical exertion involved. Yet, despite all this effort, the ultimate meaning of many of these sites remains beyond our grasp. We can measure, map, and theorize, but the full depth of the human intention behind these stones escapes us. There is comfort in this ambiguity, a reminder that not all knowledge is meant to be conquered, that some mysteries exist to inspire reflection, imagination, and quiet awe. Megaliths are also intimate records of human connection to the natural world. Many of these stones were chosen for their specific qualities, their locations carefully selected for visibility, alignment, or symbolic meaning. The builders were not working in isolation. They were observing the earth, the sky, the movements of the seasons, and translating these observations into enduring forms. There's a poetry in this, a dialogue between human beings and their environment that transcends time. Standing before these monuments, one can feel a continuity with the ancient mind, a recognition that the same sky, the same sun, and the same stars are still present, witnessing the passage of centuries, and that humanity's curiosity and creativity are part of a much longer story. In reflecting on monoliths and megaliths, we begin to understand that the mystery is as much about human intent as it is about construction. What drove societies to undertake these massive projects? Was it reverence for ancestors? worship of deities, desire for social cohesion, or something we cannot even imagine. Perhaps all of these, and perhaps other motivations, lost time. The enigma persists, but it is a gentle one, the kind of puzzle that soothes rather than startles. It allows us to slow our thoughts, to wander through possibilities, and to appreciate the achievements of those who came long before us, even as we accept that some secrets may never be fully revealed. And so, as we move past the grandeur of Stonehenge, the Moai, and Sacsayhuaman, we carry with us a sense of awe and reflection. These silent giants remind us of both the limits and the reach of human capability. They are reminders that while civilizations may rise and fall, their mark on the world can endure, enigmatic and eternal, inviting us to ponder, to imagine, and to connect with the lives and intentions of those who shaped the stones and left their quiet legacy upon the earth. In their silence, they speak volumes, and in their presence, we feel the comforting hum of mystery stretching across time. As we step back from the monumental stones and silent statues of ancient civilizations, our gaze shifts toward objects that speak of human ingenuity in ways that are far subtler, yet no less mysterious. These are the tools, instruments, and artifacts that reveal a level of knowledge and skill often thought impossible for their time. Unlike grand temples or colossal statues, these items are intimate, handheld, and precise, yet they challenge our understanding of early technology. They hint at a sophistication that seems to exceed what should have been possible with the simple tools and methods available to ancient peoples. One of the most striking examples is the Antikythera mechanism, discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece in 1901. This ancient device, often called the world's first analog computer, was capable of predicting the movements of the sun, moon, and planets, as well as eclipses, with astonishing accuracy. Built over 2,000 years ago, the mechanism is composed of intricately interlocking bronze gears, smaller than a fist, yet capable of performing calculations that modern historians believed were impossible for its era. How did ancient Greeks conceive such a complex instrument? What knowledge of mathematics and astronomy did it require? And why was such a sophisticated technology seemingly lost for centuries, disappearing only to be rediscovered in fragments centuries later? The Antikythera mechanism is a reminder that human curiosity and intellect have long reached beyond what we might expect, creating marvels that transcend time. Far from Greece, in the deserts of Mesopotamia, there are other mysterious artifacts whose purpose and sophistication continue to intrigue researchers. The Baghdad battery, a clay jar containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod, has led some to speculate that ancient civilizations may have possessed a rudimentary understanding of electricity. Whether it was used for electroplating, ceremonial purposes, or some other unknown function, the very existence of such an artifact challenges our assumptions about technological development. It suggests that even in antiquity, humans experimented in ways that could hint at knowledge we are only beginning to comprehend. And yet, much like the Antikythera mechanism, the context and full purpose of this device remain a mystery, quietly inviting us to imagine the hands and minds that created it. Even the human body itself bears traces of ancient technological understanding. Archaeologists have uncovered skeletal remains showing evidence of advanced surgical procedures long before the advent of modern medicine. Trepanation, the practice of drilling or scraping a hole in the skull, was performed in various parts of the world thousands of years ago, often with remarkable precision. Some patients survived these procedures, as indicated by healed bone surrounding the trephined area. The skill required for such surgeries suggests not only a practical knowledge of anatomy, but also a sophisticated understanding of health, pain management, and human physiology. It is astonishing to consider that ancient surgeons, working without anesthesia or modern tools, were able to perform procedures that save lives even today. In metallurgy, too, there are puzzles that continue to defy explanation. Ancient cultures from India to Egypt to sub-Saharan Africa produced metal alloys of remarkable durability and complexity, some of which we have struggled to replicate even in modern times. The Delhi iron pillar in India, for instance, has stood for over 1,600 years without significant rusting, a testament to both metallurgical skill and environmental knowledge. How did ancient blacksmiths achieve this level of expertise? Was it through trial and error, careful observation, or a body of knowledge now lost to time? Whatever the method, the existence of such objects points to a level of technical sophistication that is both inspiring and humbling, reminding us that ancient knowledge was vast, subtle, and often hidden in plain sight. Even smaller, seemingly ordinary objects can reveal extraordinary insight. Consider the intricacy of ancient water clocks, astrolabes, and navigational tools, each carefully calibrated to measure time, track celestial bodies, or guide travelers across oceans. These instruments required a combination of observational skill, craftsmanship, and mathematical understanding. They were not merely tools. They were extensions of human intellect, allowing civilizations to predict, measure, and navigate in ways that shaped entire cultures. That such precision was achieved without the benefit of modern machinery speaks to the ingenuity of ancient minds and the quiet determination with which they pursued knowledge. Perhaps what is most striking about these artifacts is the contrast between their simplicity and their sophistication. On the surface, many are small, unassuming, or even crude. A bronze gear, a clay jar, a carved piece of bone. These are objects that might seem ordinary at first glance. Yet, when studied closely, they reveal extraordinary complexity, a depth of understanding that seems far ahead of their time. This contrast, the unassuming exterior hiding astonishing intelligence, echoes a broader pattern in the history of human innovation. Much of what we take for granted as modern discovery may have been glimpsed, tested, or partially understood by our distant ancestors. It is a humbling reminder that human curiosity has always been a constant, flowing through the generations like a quiet river beneath the surface of time. There's also a profound sense of continuity in these ancient technologies. The Antikythera mechanism and the Baghdad battery, trepan skulls, and rust-resistant iron all point to human beings who were experimenting, observing, and refining their understanding of the world around them. These innovations were not created in isolation. They were part of a larger pattern of inquiry, trial, and discovery. They show us that even thousands of years ago, humans were capable of thinking abstractly, applying logic, and translating observation into practical, sometimes ingenious solutions. And yet, despite their brilliance, many of these technologies were lost, forgotten, or rendered obsolete, leaving us to wonder what other marvels may have existed, now vanished into history. In contemplating these tools and technologies, there's a quiet sense of connection to the past. We can imagine the hands that crafted the gears of the Antikythera mechanism, the careful fingers that shaped iron, the skilled touch that performed precise surgery. Each artifact carries within it the presence of human curiosity, the desire to understand, to control, and to create. And even without knowing their full purpose or original context, we can appreciate the intellectual courage it took to experiment, to innovate, and to push the boundaries of what was known. These artifacts remind us that mystery is not only found in what is monumental and enduring, but also in the intimate, precise, and deeply human accomplishments that persist quietly through time. As we reflect on these ancient achievements, we are reminded that technology and mystery are intertwined. The tools themselves are tangible, measurable, and scientific, yet the full extent of their meaning, purpose, and origin remains elusive. This creates a gentle tension, a space for contemplation, where fact meets speculation, and curiosity is rewarded more than certainty. In this space, the past becomes alive, not as a static record, but as an ongoing dialogue between human intellect and the mysteries that continue to resist explanation. These artifacts invite us to slow down, to wonder, and to appreciate the subtle brilliance of those who came before us. And so, as we leave the hands of ancient engineers and artisans, we carry with us a renewed sense of awe. From massive stones to small instruments, from complex gears to surgical tools, humanity's earliest technological achievements are more than relics. They are whispers from the past, quietly challenging our assumptions, expanding our imagination, and reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge has always been a fundamental part of the human experience. These tools, precise yet enigmatic, reveal a world where curiosity and ingenuity existed long before we could document them, where each creation was a testament to the intelligence, perseverance, and mystery of the people who shaped it. In their quiet presence, we feel the gentle pull of history, inviting us to pause, to reflect, and to wonder at what else may remain hidden, waiting for discovery. As we move from the subtle intricacies of ancient tools and technology, our attention shifts to creations that are impossible to ignore, structures so immense and so precise that they seem to defy the limits of human skill and understanding. These are the wonders of ancient architecture, where stone, earth, and human imagination meet in ways that continue to inspire awe. Unlike smaller artifacts, these structures occupy space, dominating landscapes and horizons, yet their purpose often remains shrouded in mystery. They challenge not only our technical assumptions, but also our sense of what ancient peoples were capable of envisioning and achieving. At the forefront of these enigmas stand the pyramids of Giza, rising from the desert sands like monumental echoes of human ambition. The Great Pyramid, built for Pharaoh Khufu over 4,500 years ago, was long considered the tallest man-made structure in the world. Its precise alignment with the cardinal points, the remarkable accuracy of its construction, and the sheer size of the limestone blocks, some weighing more than 2 tons, pose questions that have puzzled historians for centuries. How were these enormous stones quarried, transported, and assembled with such precision, without the aid of modern machinery? The answers remain elusive, and yet the enduring presence of the pyramids offers a silent testimony to the vision, organization, and determination of the civilization that built them. They are not merely tombs or monuments. They are expressions of an understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and social coordination that continues to fascinate and perplex. Far from Egypt, in the high plains of Bolivia, we find the enigmatic Puma Punku, part of the larger Tiwanaku complex. Here, gigantic stone blocks are cut with such extraordinary precision that the cuts themselves seem almost industrial, as if made with tools far beyond what we know existed at the time. Some stones weigh more than 130 tons, yet they are placed with interlocking joints that fit together perfectly without mortar. Scholars debate the purpose of Puma Punku. Was it a temple, a ceremonial site, or something entirely different? What is certain is that the builders possessed a knowledge of geometry, leverage, and materials that defies easy explanation. Standing among these stones, one cannot help but feel the quiet presence of a civilization whose knowledge has slipped through the cracks of time, leaving only the monumental stones to speak for them. Even within Egypt, there are smaller architectural details that baffle modern observers. Consider the precise drilling marks found in some ancient structures, which suggest the use of tools that could cut and shape stone with astonishing accuracy. The question of how such precision was achieved has fueled speculation for decades. Were their advanced techniques now lost to history? Or were these marks the result of patient labor and extraordinary skill honed over generations? The uncertainty invites reflection. The human mind and hand, working in harmony with the materials and knowledge available, can achieve what seems almost impossible. These details, while small in comparison to the pyramids themselves, provide a glimpse into the meticulous craftsmanship and intellectual sophistication of ancient builders. Moving eastward, the stonework of Sacsayhuaman in Peru offers yet another level of architectural mystery. The walls here are constructed with massive stones, some weighing over 100 tons, carefully shaped to fit together without the use of mortar. The precision is such that it is impossible to slide even a thin blade between the stones. The purpose of Sacsayhuaman remains a topic of debate. Some suggest it was a fortress, others a ceremonial site, while still others see it as a demonstration of the Inca's mastery over materials and terrain. Regardless, the skill required to quarry, transport, and position these stones demonstrates a level of engineering sophistication that is astonishing. It is not just the scale that impresses, but the refined precision, the attention to detail, and the harmony with the surrounding landscape, which suggests a deep understanding of both human labor and natural forces. In examining these sites, one is struck by the recurring theme of precision versus scale. Many ancient structures, whether pyramids, temples, or fortified walls, achieve an elegance that combines monumental size with delicate detail. The builders were not merely stacking stones. They were calculating, observing, and executing with a level of knowledge that seems almost beyond their time. This contrast, immense size paired with meticulous craftsmanship, creates a sense of awe and wonder. It is as if the ancients were speaking to us across the millennia, not in words, but through the language of structure, alignment, and proportion. There's also a profound temporal aspect to these architectural mysteries. These structures have endured thousands of years, surviving earthquakes, erosion, and human interference. In their endurance, they act as a bridge between past and present, connecting us to minds long gone, to hands that toiled patiently, and to visions that outlasted generations. They remind us that architecture is more than mere construction. It is a conversation across time, a record of human ambition, skill, and thought. The uncertainty of purpose, why these structures were built in such a precise manner, or what ceremonies and activities they hosted, only enhances their fascination, inviting reflection rather than immediate answers. Some mysteries extend beyond the stones themselves to the very methods of construction. How are massive blocks transported over great distances? How were precise alignments achieved without modern instruments? Were their techniques now lost, or were these feats the result of ingenious solutions using simple tools, careful observation, and collective human effort? The answers remain elusive, but the process of imagining, of reconstructing these methods in the mind, becomes a gentle meditation, a way to step into the perspective of ancient builders and to feel the slow, deliberate rhythm of their labor. The architectural achievements of antiquity also carry a spiritual and symbolic weight. Many structures, from pyramids to temples to ceremonial complexes, were designed with an awareness of the cosmos, aligning with the stars, solstices, or cardinal directions. This suggests that ancient builders were not only concerned with practical matters, but also with the intangible, the sacred, and the celestial. Their work reflects a philosophy that intertwines human effort with cosmic order, a vision in which architecture becomes a form of meditation, devotion, and communication with forces beyond the visible world. In contemplating these alignments, we sense the minds and spirits that guided the labor, connecting human experience with the cycles of the heavens. And so, as we step back from the pyramids of Egypt, the stone terraces of Peru, and the enigmatic walls of Pumapunku, we are left with a profound sense of wonder. These structures are not merely remnants of the past. They are monuments to imagination, skill, and the enduring human desire to leave a mark upon the world. They challenge our understanding of what is possible, blending technical mastery with mystery, scale with detail, and the earthly with the celestial. In their quiet, monumental presence, they invite reflection, contemplation, and a sense of connection to a world that is both distant and intimate, known and unknowable. These architectural marvels remind us that mystery is not always about what is hidden or lost. Sometimes it is about what has been built to endure, leaving behind questions as enduring as the stones themselves. They invite us to slow down, to observe, and to appreciate the ingenuity, vision, and determination of the people who created them. In doing so, we enter a space where curiosity and reflection coexist, where awe is paired with calm, and where the mysteries of human achievement stretch quietly, patiently, across the millennia. As we leave behind the grandeur of ancient architecture, our attention turns to the enigmatic symbols and writings left by civilizations whose voices still speak to us across time. though often in whispers we cannot fully decipher. These symbols, etched in stone, carved in a bone, painted on pottery, or inscribed on tablets, are fragments of thought, glimpses into the minds of people long gone. They reveal a deep desire to communicate, to record, and to connect with both the living and the divine. And yet, for many of these scripts, their meanings remain elusive, offering more questions than answers and drawing us into a gentle meditation on the nature of knowledge and memory. Consider first the Indus script found throughout the ancient Indus Valley civilization. These symbols, etched on small seals and pottery, appear as a complex and systematic form of writing, yet they have defied translation for over a century. Scholars debate whether the script represents a fully developed language or a proto-writing system intended for trade or ritual purposes. The challenge lies not only in the brevity of the inscriptions, but also in the absence of any bilingual text that might serve as a key, like the Rosetta Stone did for Egyptian hieroglyphs. In this silence, there is both frustration and fascination. We are left to imagine what these symbols might have conveyed: transactions, prayers, laws, or perhaps philosophical reflections. And in that imagining, we form a quiet connection with a people who lived thousands of years ago, whose thoughts, however mysterious, are still accessible in fleeting glimpses. In Egypt, hieroglyphs offer a different kind of dialogue. Unlike the Indus script, hieroglyphs have largely been deciphered, yet they still contain layers of mystery. Beyond the practical text recording events, laws, and trade, hieroglyphs adorn tombs and temples with poetic inscriptions, symbolic imagery, and encoded knowledge. They speak to a civilization deeply attuned to both the spiritual and natural world, conveying not only information, but also a sense of cosmic order. Even with translation, the nuances of their meanings, metaphor, symbolism, and layered significance are not always fully understood. They hint at an ancient worldview, one where letters and images intertwined to create a bridge between the earthly and the divine, leaving modern observers both informed and humbled by the depth of knowledge encoded in stone. Far to the west, in the heart of Mesoamerica, the Maya script combines logograms and syllabic symbols to record a rich tapestry of history, mythology, and astronomy. The Maya meticulously documented the movements of celestial bodies, kings' reigns, and sacred rituals, often within intricately painted codices and carved monuments. These texts reveal a civilization that not only tracked time with astonishing precision, but also wove stories of gods, heroes, and ancestors into a living, temporal map. Yet many Maya texts were destroyed during the Spanish conquest, leaving gaps that may never be filled. The remaining inscriptions, while partially decipherable, remind us of the fragility of knowledge and the way that history can be shaped not only by what is recorded, but also by what is lost. Each surviving glyph is a fragile thread connecting us to minds and cultures separated from us by centuries, yet still capable of stirring our imagination. Equally mysterious are the cave paintings and symbolic carvings found across Europe, Africa, and Australia, often created tens of thousands of years ago. In places like Lascaux in France or the caves of Altamira in Spain, prehistoric humans painted images of animals, abstract shapes, and intricate patterns. Some of these symbols may have held ritual significance, perhaps tied to hunting practices or spiritual beliefs. Others could have been a form of early communication or storytelling. Regardless of their exact purpose, they demonstrate a remarkable capacity for abstract thought and symbolic representation, a sophisticated understanding of their environment, and a desire to leave a lasting mark on the world. In gazing at these images, we sense the minds of our distant ancestors, reaching out to us across millennia in a silent conversation that invites contemplation rather than explanation. Another layer of mystery lies in the undeciphered scripts of civilizations that vanished, such as the Rongorongo of Easter Island or Linear A from Minoan Crete. The Rongorongo inscriptions, carved on wooden tablets, remain untranslated despite intensive study, leaving scholars puzzled about whether they represent a language, mnemonic system, or religious text. Linear A, the predecessor of the more familiar linear B used by the Mycenaeans, similarly eludes understanding. These scripts are not only linguistic puzzles, but cultural ones, hinting at complex societies whose intellectual and spiritual lives were rich and sophisticated, yet whose voices have largely faded. In their incompleteness, they challenge us to consider the limits of our knowledge and the enduring enigma of human expression. Symbols and scripts are fascinating not only for what they tell us, but for what they do not tell us. Each undeciphered glyph, each mysterious symbol, is a space for imagination. They allow the mind to wander, to speculate gently about the thoughts, beliefs, and experiences of people long gone. They remind us that history is not a fixed narrative, but a living dialogue between the present and the past, one that requires patience, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty. In this sense, symbols become more than tools for communication. They're companions for contemplation, gentle guides into the unknown. The study of these ancient writings also highlights the human desire for permanence and memory. From the earliest cave marks to the grand inscriptions on temples and monuments, people sought to record their existence, to leave traces that would survive the decay of time. Even when the exact meanings are lost, the intention endures. We can sense the human impulse to create, to understand, and to communicate, reaching across generations to speak to us in forms that are partially hidden, partially revealed. There's a quiet poetry in this. The past continues to speak, and our curiosity becomes a form of listening, a way of keeping these ancient voices alive. In contemplating these symbols, we also encounter a profound contrast between the known and the unknown. In some cases, we can read, translate, and interpret with confidence. In others, we are left with tantalizing fragments that resist our understanding. This contrast does not frustrate, it soothes. It reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is as much about wonder as it is about certainty. Some questions remain unanswered, not because they are beyond human comprehension, but because their full context may be lost forever, waiting quietly in the recesses of time. And yet, even in this partial knowledge, there is richness, insight, and a deep connection to the people who once inscribed these symbols with care, reverence, and purpose. Symbols and writing also bridge the earthly and the cosmic, connecting the tangible with the intangible. Many ancient scripts contain astronomical data, spiritual instruction, or ritual guidance, blending practical information with philosophical reflection. This intertwining suggests that for many ancient peoples, knowledge was holistic, an integration of observation, belief, and imagination. As modern observers, we glimpse this integration and are reminded that mystery is not only in what is hidden, but in the ways in which meaning was layered, encoded, and preserved. Each inscription, each symbol, becomes a quiet meditation on the depth of human thought and the enduring presence of curiosity. And so, as we move through caves, temples, and ancient ruins, observing symbols, glyphs, and inscriptions, we find ourselves in a dialogue with the past. The words and marks may be partially understood or completely mysterious, yet they evoke a sense of continuity, connection, and contemplation. They remind us that the human desire to record, to understand, and to communicate has existed for tens of thousands of years, and that even in the face of incomplete knowledge, these traces endure, inviting us to slow down, reflect, and wonder. In their quiet persistence, they become not just relics of history, but companions for the mind, gentle guides through the mysteries that still surround us. As we move from the symbols and writings of ancient civilizations, our attention shifts toward the mysterious art and artifacts that reveal a deeply human desire to express, preserve, and communicate across time. While architecture and technology tell us about skill and ingenuity, art offers something more intimate, glimpses of imagination, emotion, and worldview. From intricately carved figurines to enigmatic paintings, these artifacts invite us to enter the minds of people long gone, allowing us to sense not only their creativity, but also the mysteries they held close, encoded in forms that continue to elude explanation. Consider the Venus figurines scattered across Europe, small statues carved from ivory, bone, or stone, often depicting exaggerated female forms. Dating back tens of thousands of years, these figurines are among the earliest known expressions of human artistry. Their purpose remains uncertain. Were they fertility symbols, representations of goddesses, or simply objects of aesthetic or ritual value? The sheer consistency in style and form across vast distances suggests that these artifacts carry deep cultural significance, hinting at shared beliefs, rituals, or social norms. Yet, the true meaning has been lost to time, leaving modern observers to wonder and reflect, appreciating the subtle power of these small yet enduring creations. In the caves of Lascaux and Chauvet in France, prehistoric cave paintings offer another window into ancient imagination. Images of animals, hunters, and abstract symbols cover the walls, some painted with astonishing precision and skill. While the exact purpose of these paintings remains a matter of debate, many scholars believe they held spiritual or ritual significance, perhaps serving as a bridge between humans and the natural or supernatural world. Others suggest they may have been educational, recording hunting practices or seasonal patterns. Regardless, the depth of observation and artistry is striking, revealing a profound connection to both the environment and the human psyche. The paintings evoke a quiet sense of companionship across millennia, as if the artists themselves reached out to us through the darkness of the caves. Moving forward in time and geography, the Moai of Easter Island provide a striking example of monumental art imbued with mystery. These enormous statues, with their elongated heads and solemn expressions, gaze silently across the island. Their construction, transportation, and purpose continue to puzzle historians and archaeologists alike. Each figure seems to embody both the technical skill and spiritual beliefs of the Rapa Nui people, suggesting a complex society in which art and ritual were intertwined. And yet, despite centuries of study, the deeper meanings and cultural narratives associated with the Moai remain largely unknown. They are reminders that art is not always about clarity or explanation. It could be a vessel of memory, a symbolic presence, or a spiritual touchstone that transcends time. Even smaller artifacts carry profound mystery. The Nebra sky disk, discovered in Germany and dating back over 3,600 years, is an ancient bronze disk inlaid with gold symbols representing celestial phenomena. Scholars interpret it as one of the earliest known depictions of the cosmos, mapping the sun, moon, and stars with remarkable accuracy. How did people of this era acquire such sophisticated astronomical knowledge? And why encode it in this particular form? The disk suggests a culture deeply attuned to the rhythms of the sky, yet the specific purpose, whether ritual, educational, or symbolic, remains unknown. In examining it, we are drawn into the mind of a distant observer, imagining the wonder and reverence they must have felt as they looked to the heavens and sought to capture their patterns in art. Across the world, in Mesoamerica, the Maya codices and carvings reveal another dimension of ancient artistic mystery. Murals, pottery, and carved stele depict gods, rituals, and historical events with astonishing detail. The combination of artistry, symbolism, and narrative provides a window into a worldview where myth, history, and daily life were seamlessly integrated. Yet, much of the context has been lost due to natural decay and historical destruction, leaving us with fragments that hint at greater stories. Each glyph, image, and relief is a puzzle piece, suggesting rich narratives that are only partially visible. The experience of studying these works is both meditative and humbling, emphasizing the continuity of human expression across time. Artistic mystery is not confined to representational forms. Abstract patterns, symbolic motifs, and enigmatic carvings appear across cultures, often with meanings that remain elusive. Spirals, zigzags, concentric circles, and other geometric motifs are found from prehistoric Europe to the Americas, Africa, and Asia. Were these symbols decorative, spiritual, or perhaps functional in ways we no longer understand? Their recurrence across continents and epochs hints at shared human cognitive patterns, yet their precise meaning remains elusive, leaving modern observers in a space of quiet contemplation. The mystery lies not in the lack of skill, but in the layers of significance that may never be fully revealed. One of the most captivating aspects of ancient art is the intersection of mystery and intention. The artists were not merely crafting objects. They were encoding knowledge, belief, and emotion into forms that could endure long after their creators had passed. The purpose may have been religious, social, or aesthetic, or all three simultaneously, but the enduring presence of these works allows us to sense the care, reverence, and thought that went into each piece. This creates a gentle dialogue across time, in which we are invited to witness, wonder, and reflect rather than demand answers. Art, in this sense, becomes both a record and a riddle, a bridge between the known and the unknowable. Another dimension of mystery in ancient art lies in the methods of creation. Many works, whether small figurines, murals, or massive stone carvings, exhibit techniques that are astonishing in their sophistication. Consider the precision of chiseling, the layering of pigments, or the alignment of carved features with celestial events. The tools may have been simple, yet the results suggest knowledge, patience, and observation that surpass expectations for the era. The process itself becomes a source of wonder, a reminder that human creativity has always operated at the intersection of labor, intellect, and inspiration. These works teach us that mystery is not only about purpose, but also about the process, the quiet, patient, and deliberate effort that brings imagination into form. There is also a profound emotional resonance in ancient art. Whether a small figurine or a towering statue, these creations evoke empathy, curiosity, and a sense of connection. The expressions captured in stone, the curves of a painted figure, or the careful etching of symbols remind us that the people who created them were individuals with hopes, fears, and a desire to communicate beyond their lifetimes. In studying these objects, we are not only observing technical skill, but also glimpsing the universal human urge to leave a mark, to be remembered, and to touch the minds of those who come after. Art becomes a quiet companion in the contemplation of history, bridging the gap between the distant past and the present moment. Ultimately, the mysteries of ancient art remind us that not all knowledge is explicit. Some of the most profound truths of human experience are encoded not in words, but in forms, symbols, and gestures. The unanswered questions, the ambiguities, and the lost context do not diminish the value of these works. They enhance it. They invite us to slow down, to observe, and to engage with the past in a way that is both meditative and imaginative. In the presence of these artistic mysteries, we learn that the act of contemplation itself is a form of connection, a gentle acknowledgement that we are part of a long chain of human curiosity, creativity, and wonder. And so, as we leave behind the silent halls of ancient art, from the Venus figurines of Europe to the sky-mapped Nebra disc, from Maya murals to enigmatic carvings scattered across the globe, we carry with us a sense of quiet awe. These artifacts are more than relics. They are echoes of thought, imagination, and belief. They invite reflection, contemplation, and a gentle curiosity that asks not for definitive answers, but for the willingness to wonder. In the presence of these mysterious creations, we touch something timeless, a whisper of the human spirit that continues to resonate across centuries, inviting us to pause, to imagine, and to explore the mysteries that remain etched in form, symbol, and color. As we leave the mysteries of art behind, our attention turns to ancient civilizations whose existence and achievements continue to baffle modern scholars, reminding us that the course of human history is far more intricate and enigmatic than textbooks often suggest. These civilizations left behind fragments, ruins, inscriptions, artifacts that hint at advanced knowledge, complex social organization, and cultural sophistication. Yet much of their story remains unknown. Their rise and fall, their ingenuity, and their interactions with the natural and human worlds invite reflection on the impermanence of civilizations and the enduring allure of unanswered questions. One of the most intriguing examples is the Olmec civilization of Mesoamerica, often referred to as the mother culture of the region. Flourishing between 1500 and 400 BCE, the Olmecs left behind colossal stone heads, intricate jade carvings, and ceremonial centers such as La Venta and San Lorenzo. These heads, some weighing over 20 tons, suggest a society capable of remarkable engineering and coordination. Yet little is known about the Olmec language, governance, or daily life. Scholars continue to puzzle over their cultural and religious significance. Were these representations of rulers, deities, or ancestors? Why were they positioned in specific ceremonial sites? The mystery deepens as we realize that while the Olmecs influenced later Mesoamerican civilizations, much of their own culture remains elusive, whispering through the stone remnants and leaving us with only tantalizing fragments. Farther afield, the Nabta Playa site in the Egyptian desert offers another enigma. Predating the Great Pyramids by more than a millennium, this prehistoric ceremonial site features stone circles and alignments that appear connected to the stars. Archaeologists believe it may have been used for astronomical observation, ritual ceremonies, or both, yet the precise intentions of its builders remain uncertain. The site demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of celestial cycles long before written records documented such knowledge. It is a reminder that even seemingly remote or forgotten regions of the world may harbor secrets of human ingenuity that challenge our assumptions about technological and intellectual development in ancient societies. In South America, the Tiwanaku civilization presents yet another puzzle. Centered near Lake Titicaca, this pre-Incan culture constructed massive ceremonial complexes, including the enigmatic Acapana Pyramid and the precisely cut stones of Puma Punku. The architectural sophistication, combined with evidence of social and agricultural organization, points to a highly advanced society. Yet, the collapse of Tiwanaku around 1000 CE remains mysterious. Was it climate change, resource depletion, or internal conflict that led to the decline? Or perhaps a combination of factors? The answers remain speculative, leaving us to imagine the lives, challenges, and ingenuity of the people who built and sustained this civilization for centuries. Similarly, the Harappan civilization of the Indus Valley presents one of the most enduring historical mysteries. Flourishing between 2600 and 1900 BCE, Harappan cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa reveal extraordinary urban planning, standardized weights and measures, advanced drainage systems, and a sophisticated understanding of metallurgy. Yet the civilization's script remains undeciphered, leaving the social structure, governance, and religious beliefs largely unknown. Even more perplexing is the sudden decline and disappearance of these urban centers. Did environmental changes, flooding, or shifting trade routes cause their collapse? Or was it a combination of human and natural factors? The Harappans remind us that civilizations can achieve remarkable feats and then vanish, leaving us only with questions and the silent whispers of ruins. In the Mediterranean, the Minoan civilization on Crete provides yet another layer of mystery. Flourishing around 2000 to 1400 BCE, the Minoans built palaces like Knossos with complex layouts, advanced plumbing, and elaborate frescoes depicting rituals, ceremonies, and marine life. Yet much about their culture remains unknown, including the meaning of their script, Linear A, and the specifics of their political organization. The sudden decline of the Minoans, possibly due to a combination of natural disasters like volcanic eruptions and external invasions, left behind remnants of civilization that seems both familiar and elusive. Their artistic and architectural achievements, though partially preserved, continue to spark wonder and speculation, reminding us that human ingenuity often leaves more questions than answers. One of the most striking aspects of these ancient civilizations is the contrast between what is visible and what remains hidden. We see the ruins, the artifacts, the monumental structures, and yet the social customs, religious beliefs, and day-to-day life remain largely obscure. This contrast creates a sense of mystery that is both soothing and stimulating. It encourages reflection on the nature of knowledge and the passage of time. We are reminded that history is not a static record, but a living dialogue between what has survived and what has been lost, between the tangible and the intangible, the known and the unknowable. Another fascinating element is the interconnectedness of ancient cultures. Trade, migration, and cultural exchange are evident in the similarities of art, technology, and religious practices across distant regions. For instance, the use of specific symbols, construction techniques, or agricultural methods appears in multiple civilizations separated by thousands of kilometers and years. These connections hint at networks of knowledge and exchange that are only partially understood. They invite us to consider the possibility that ancient societies were more interconnected and sophisticated than we often assume, operating within a global context of observation, experimentation, and cultural dialogue. The collapse or disappearance of these civilizations adds yet another layer to the mystery. Why do some societies flourish for centuries, leaving monumental achievements, only to fade from memory? Was it environmental pressures, internal strife, or simply the inexorable flow of time? The unanswered questions allow us to reflect on the fragility and resilience of human societies. They also provide a contemplative space, a gentle reminder that achievement and mystery often coexist, that the enduring structures, artifacts, and writings of the past carry with them both knowledge and enigma, waiting for modern minds to explore, ponder, and wonder. The study of these civilizations also evokes a sense of timeless curiosity. Modern observers cannot fully reconstruct the thoughts, motivations, or experiences of the people who built these complex societies. Yet, by examining their ruins, artifacts, and records, we engage in imaginative reconstruction, filling in the gaps with educated speculation and reflective contemplation. This engagement is both intellectual and meditative, allowing us to traverse time and space in quiet thought, imagining the rhythm of daily life, the challenges, the celebrations, and the philosophical musings of ancient peoples. In doing so, we connect with humanity across millennia, sharing in the curiosity, ingenuity, and wonder that has always defined our species. Ultimately, these civilizations remind us that history is alive with mystery. The ruins, inscriptions, and artifacts are not just records of human achievement. They are invitations to wonder, to reflect, and to explore the unknown. They create a dialogue between past and present, a gentle tension between certainty and uncertainty, fact and speculation. And it is in this space, the space where curiosity meets contemplation, that we find the enduring allure of ancient civilizations. They are a testament to human creativity, resilience, and the quiet, unending quest to understand and shape the world. As we leave these ancient civilizations behind, we carry with us not only the knowledge of their existence, but also the sense of wonder and humility they inspire. Their achievements, mysteries, and disappearances remind us that the past is not merely a collection of dates and events, but a living, breathing realm of stories, questions, and human imagination. In reflecting on their accomplishments and enigmas, we find a calm fascination that is both soothing and inspiring, a quiet meditation on the enduring mysteries of our shared human history. The Egyptian Book of the Dead is one of the most iconic and mystifying texts to have survived from the ancient world. More than just a guide for the dead, it represents a deep, philosophical understanding of life, death, and the journey into the afterlife. This sacred text, made up of spells, prayers, and hymns, was designed to protect the deceased, ensure a safe passage through the underworld, and ultimately guarantee rebirth in the afterlife. Yet, despite its importance, many aspects of the Book of the Dead remain obscure, leading to various interpretations and theories about its true meaning. For centuries, historians and scholars have puzzled over the deeper meaning of the Book of the Dead. While it is widely understood as a religious guide to navigating the afterlife, its more esoteric elements have sparked curiosity. What, for example, is the deeper significance of the many trials the deceased must endure in the underworld? What are the intricate descriptions of gods, demons, and the journey to the afterlife truly reveal about ancient Egyptian beliefs? On one hand, the text is deeply practical. It offers instructions on how to overcome obstacles in the afterlife, including encounters with fearsome deities and dangerous creatures. It provides protection from judgment by the gods, promising safety through spells like the chapter of Coming Forth by Day, which would help the soul escape from peril. But the Book of the Dead also ventures into the realm of the mysterious and the unknowable. For instance, it includes rituals and prayers that suggest a connection to secret, hidden knowledge passed down through the priesthood, implying there was more to the text than what appeared on the surface. The famous weighing of the heart ritual, where the deceased's heart is measured against the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice, stands as one of the most iconic symbols of the afterlife. But could this represent more than just a spiritual trial? Could it contain hidden codes or ancient wisdom meant to transcend the realm of mere spiritual practice? The contrast between the visible and the hidden in the Book of the Dead invites us to question whether the text might have concealed esoteric knowledge that was never meant for common understanding. Could it be that certain sections were intentionally encrypted, holding cryptic secrets of ancient Egyptian philosophy or lost scientific knowledge that was too advanced for its time? At the same time, the Book of the Dead offers us a fascinating glimpse into ancient Egyptian culture and its view of the afterlife. The Egyptians believed in the immortality of the soul, and their understanding of life after death was both profound and elaborate. In their worldview, death was not an end, but a transition, with the soul embarking on a journey of transformation and judgment. Yet, as we explore the text more deeply, we can't help but wonder if the Egyptians had access to knowledge that extended beyond their time, a knowledge that could illuminate much of what we still do not understand about the mysteries of life, death, and the universe. Perhaps, then, the Book of the Dead represents not just a spiritual guide, but a key to unlocking an even deeper mystery. Was it merely a religious document for the living, or was it, in some way, a coded repository of esoteric secrets? Could there have been hidden meanings within its layers of symbolism, designed to preserve knowledge for future generations? Or perhaps, as some scholars suggest, the Book of the Dead holds remnants of an ancient, forgotten truth, a cosmic map of the soul's journey, linked to a knowledge far older and more advanced than we can imagine? As we linger on the mystery of this sacred text, we must ask ourselves, what if the Book of the Dead was never meant to be fully understood? What if it was, and still is, a key to a higher consciousness, one that we have yet to unlock? This section leaves us with lingering questions about the true nature of the text. Was it merely a guide for the dead, or a doorway to something greater, waiting for us to uncover its secrets in the future? The Bermuda Triangle, often referred to as the Devil's Triangle, has captivated the imaginations of explorers, scientists, and curious minds for centuries. Stretching between the points of Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, this mysterious area of the Atlantic Ocean is notorious for the strange disappearances of ships, aircraft, and even entire fleets, many without a trace. But what is it about this region that has given rise to such eerie and unsolved mysteries? Is it simply the result of natural phenomena, or is there something more at play? Something far darker and more inexplicable? The most well-known and chilling stories of the Bermuda Triangle involve the disappearance of Flight 19 in 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bombers, en route for a routine training mission, inexplicably vanished without a trace. What's most perplexing is that their pilots reported disorienting effects, including confusion about their bearings and an inability to navigate properly. Despite the rescue efforts that followed, the planes, along with their 14 crew members, were never found. Days later, a rescue plane sent to search for them also disappeared under mysterious circumstances. This event is often seen as the tipping point that thrust the Bermuda Triangle into the public's consciousness, but it was far from the only mysterious disappearance in the region. In the years following the Flight 19 incident, numerous other ships and planes met the same fate. Some of these disappearances have been attributed to natural causes like violent storms, sudden changes in weather, or underwater currents. Others suggest magnetic anomalies in the area might be affecting navigational instruments, leading travelers off course and into peril. But despite these explanations, the sheer frequency and variety of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle still seem too remarkable to be purely coincidental. Some theories lean toward more fantastical explanations. Could the Bermuda Triangle be a kind of portal or wormhole where time and space bend in strange ways? Could it be a remnant of an ancient, advanced civilization that once lived in the area, leaving behind technology that affects modern-day vessels and planes? The concept of time travel and parallel dimensions has been proposed, with some speculating that travelers who enter the Bermuda Triangle might find themselves transported to another time or dimension altogether. In these theories, the Bermuda Triangle is not a place of simple vanishing, but a doorway to another world, a world that remains hidden from our reality. Then there are the theories that verge on the supernatural. Could the Bermuda Triangle be the site of some malevolent force, an area cursed by ancient rituals or extraterrestrial activity? Over the years, some have suggested that the disappearances are the result of alien involvement. Could the strange electromagnetic fields in the region be the result of UFO activity? Perhaps the Bermuda Triangle is the site of a covert alien base or a location where otherworldly beings conduct experiments. While these ideas might seem far-fetched to some, they continue to persist in popular culture and conspiracy circles, adding a layer of mystique and wonder to the already perplexing phenomenon. Despite the many theories, none of them provide a definitive explanation. The more we uncover about the Bermuda Triangle, the more questions arise. Is it simply a case of natural phenomena creating a dangerous environment for travel? Or is there something more profound at work, something that challenges our understanding of science, space, and time? This contrast between the logical and the mysterious is at the heart of the Bermuda Triangle's allure. The explanations for what happens there are often grounded in science, but there is always a whisper of something beyond, a sense that the Bermuda Triangle holds some kind of knowledge or power that we as humans are not yet ready to comprehend. What makes this mystery even more captivating is the lack of concrete evidence. While thousands of ships and planes have traversed the Bermuda Triangle over the centuries, many of those that disappeared did so without leaving a single shred of wreckage or debris behind. This leaves open the possibility that something inexplicable is happening beneath the surface. Perhaps an undersea cave, a lost city, or some other hidden element in the depths that we have yet to discover. But what if, as some suggest, the Bermuda Triangle is not just an area of mysterious disappearances, but a place where the laws of physics and reality itself break down? Over the years, attempts have been made to demystify the Bermuda Triangle by examining the region with modern technology, such as satellite imagery and sonar scans. However, even with the most sophisticated equipment, the answers remain elusive. It is as though the Bermuda Triangle resists being fully understood, slipping through the fingers of science and logic like sand through an hourglass. This ongoing enigma only adds to the region's allure, as the Bermuda Triangle continues to defy our attempts to rationalize it, inviting a sense of awe and wonder that endures to this day. Perhaps it is this very resistance to explanation that makes the Bermuda Triangle so captivating. In a world that increasingly values clear answers and neat solutions, the Bermuda Triangle remains a paradox, a space where the lines between reality and the unknown blur, inviting us to question the very nature of existence. Whether it is a natural phenomenon, a supernatural force, or a glimpse into a realm beyond our comprehension, the Bermuda Triangle continues to challenge our perceptions of the world around us. And in doing so, It ensures that its mysteries will remain unsolved, at least for now, forever drawing us back to its depths in search of answers. The Bermuda Triangle, then, is not just a place of disappearances, but a symbol of our eternal fascination with the unknown. In a sense, it represents the boundaries of human understanding, where the known world meets the mysterious and the unexplained. As long as these stories persist, we will continue to wonder what truly lies within the Bermuda Triangle, and why, after all these years, are its secrets still beyond our grasp. In 1945, the Sodder family experienced an unimaginable tragedy when 5 of their children died in a house fire in Fayetteville, West Virginia. What made the case even more baffling was the absence of any remains in the ashes. The family believed their children may have survived and been kidnapped before the fire. Inconsistencies in the investigation, such as no bones found despite the severity of the fire, raised suspicions of foul play. Jenny Sodder, the mother, insisted she had heard noises during the fire and believed her children were taken. Rumors suggested possible revenge against the family due to George Sodder's conflicts with local figures. Years later, a photograph surfaced showing children who resembled the missing Sodder kids, deepening the mystery. Despite several theories, including a possible arson or kidnapping plot, no clear answers emerged. The case remains unresolved to this day, with the Sodder family's relentless search for the truth and the unsettling lack of closure leading many to believe the children's fate is tied to a cover-up or sinister conspiracy. The disappearance of the Sodder children is a haunting reminder that sometimes the truth remains elusive, buried under layers of unanswered questions. In the small town of Taos, New Mexico, a strange phenomenon known as the Taos hum has puzzled residents for decades. A select group of people report hearing a constant, low-frequency sound similar to the hum of an idling engine. Despite numerous investigations, no clear source of the sound has been identified. Around 2 to 3% of people in the area claim to hear it, with some experiencing physical symptoms like headaches and nausea. Several theories have been proposed, including the possibility of infrasound, a low-frequency vibration that can be felt but not heard. Other theories involve military testing or secret government operations, as Taos is near several sensitive military sites. While some believe the hum could be a natural phenomenon linked to the region's geography, the fact that similar hums have been reported worldwide complicates this theory. Some even speculate that the hum may have an extraterrestrial origin, though there's no concrete evidence to support such claims. Despite numerous studies, the Taos hum remains an unsolved mystery, continuing to intrigue those who wonder whether we are hearing something beyond our understanding. In 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers led by Igor Dyatlov died mysteriously in the Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia. Their bodies were found scattered near their abandoned tent, which had been cut open from the inside. Strangely, the hikers fled into the freezing night without proper clothing, many barefoot, and some were found with severe injuries, including crushed skulls and missing eyes and tongues. Theories about the cause of their deaths are numerous. Some suggest an avalanche, though the lack of signs of avalanche activity and the unusual injuries have led others to propose more outlandish explanations, including military experiments or even extraterrestrial encounters. The Soviet government's refusal to fully investigate and the strange circumstances surrounding the case have led to widespread speculation. Despite modern forensic techniques, the mystery remains unsolved. The Dyatlov Pass incident continues to be a chilling reminder of how some events defy explanation. The bizarre injuries and the hikers' sudden, unexplained panic make it one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century.